Page here, and this week I'll be reviewing set number 70770. And this set costs £12 and it's called LEGO Galaxy Squad Space Swarmer. So here's the first minifigure of the set, and the first minifigure of the set is a little robot for the blue team. I'd say it's quite cool how this robot is a minifig instead of a brick build, since that generally looks better, although this robot does have a few flaws. Like, the arms are very plain, and the back of the torso and legs are also sort of plain, although there's a bit of detail on those, so I guess it's okay. But the one detail which I really don't like is the head. I mean, it looks really odd, and really squared off, and very blocky, and I don't know, it just doesn't look that good, in my personal opinion. I mean, the printing on it's good, apart from the eye, which is sort of a bit weird. Like, right here, why is this eye black and this one is orange? I'm not quite sure, but in general the printing looks quite good. Like, the white stripes going all the way through, that looks quite nice, and quite a nice little detail there. Also like the rivet detail right on the side, so that's a nice bit of moulding and printing combination, I guess. But in general, the head sort of ruins the minifig just overall. I mean, the torso print is quite nice though, so that's quite good. He does have a little eagle, which is the blue team's emblem, printed onto his torso. He also has a sort of gun sight sort of symbol to show, I guess, his rank or something. And he also has a little bit of bolt printing and some lines sort of printed up the side, which look quite good, and sort of flow with the torso and the legs very well. And the legs also have some nice details of the sort of shin pads or knee pads, and he also has a belt and some various lines going down his legs. And around the back, as I said, the back of the arms and the legs are very plain, but the head does have a bit of printing on it, I guess, and that is a specialised mould if I didn't mention that already. And also he has some very nice printing on the back, which shows a fan, which I guess is powering him or cooling him down or something, since he is a robot. He also has some printing which shows some bolts, and some printing which continues the leg pattern from the front of the torso and the front of the legs. So in general this minifig looks really nice, but the head does sort of let it down a bit. Right, so here's the jetpack included in the set for the robot. I'd say this looks really cool, especially when it's attached to the robot, since it does look like it's part of the robot, and he's just got a jetpack that attaches to his back. And that attaches through this hollow stud on the back of the jetpack, which looks quite cool and works really well. And there's also these two blasters, which is a very clever use of a piece. I mean, it's just two simple blaster pieces, used very effectively here. And also you can take those off, so you could use them as blasters when the robot's not using the jetpack. So that's quite a cool use and clever use of a piece. There's also this lever on the back to power up the jetpack, and that's quite a cool jetpack build overall. Very cleverly done. There's the big blaster included in the set. I'd say this is a really cool build for such a simple build. I mean, it's only made out of 6 pieces, and yeah, it looks really cool. And really quite massive and powerful. And part of that look is created through the front, which is basically a Technic sort of connection piece with some Technic pins. And those sort of look like the sort of Gatling gun parts inside the actual gun itself, which looks really quite cool. There's also this sort of laser crystal right here, or at least I assume that's what that's supposed to be. I guess that's powering up the lasers within the gun, so perhaps it uses laser energy, I guess. And there's also this camera piece on the back. In general, this just looks really big and powerful, and really quite a cool gun build. So here's the second minifig of the set, and the second minifig of the set is just a basic Insectoids troop. Now, having said that, this minifig does look really quite cool. I really do quite like various details on this minifig, like the colour scheme, which looks really unique to this minifig. Like, it has dark red and it has a sort of swampy green, which gives a really nice bug look. And helping with that bug look is the head sculpt, which is really quite cool. Now, the printing on it is really quite cool as well, but the sculpt is really what makes it. I mean, it sort of has some bug fangs, and it has some various bone details as well, with the exoskeleton of a bug. And there's also some printing on the top of the head, and the eyes look really menacing and really quite cool printing there as well. And it's dual moulded colours, so that's quite cool. And around the back there's sort of a tail of a sort of fly or something, or a wasp, and that's quite a cool detail around the back of the head. Really nice ridges along here, really well detailed and sculpted. Could have used perhaps a paint app or something, like here. But, you know, it looks cool for what it is, and quite well detailed for a 2013 minifig. And I also really like the torso print around the back and the front. It sort of shows an exoskeleton of a bug. Also really like the detail of an Aliens Conquest pistol. That's a really nice throwback to that theme. I did quite like that theme, so that's quite cool. And in general, this minifig is just really well detailed, lots of nice details to spot, and it looks really quite cool for a basic sort of grunt of this theme. Right, so here's the main build of the set, and the main build of the set is the Space Swarmer itself. I'd say it would look really cool if you had a whole swarm of these. I guess that was the intention of this set, so it was an impulse by the Buy A Lotto. In that respect, this build works really well. And another thing that works really well is the articulation of the wings. I mean, it does break off occasionally, but it does work really well and looks really cool in all sorts of different flying poses. I also do quite like the clip at the back which holds the accessory so that you can have the accessory and you don't lose it. Say, if you're playing around with it, it won't fall off, it's just attached by a clip. And there's also the legs which can move up and down, although they're slightly limited, so I do wish they had a bit more articulation. But I guess you can turn them sort of downwards so they have a bit more, but as the build is intended, they don't have that much articulation. I also quite like the eyes on the side though, those are quite nice, and definitely create quite a nice bug-like look, which this is meant to look like. And overall the appearance of this thing looks really quite good. There's also a nice feature up here which has a sort of mouth bit, and you can sort of hold a minifig in there, such as this minifig right here. Now the grasp isn't that good, but it does look quite cool, especially with the nice printed piece on the front right here, which shows the inner mouth of the creature, and that looks really well detailed, really nice print right there. Another nice print is this control panel which shows a spaceship, which is the Blue Team spaceship, and it also has a sort of radar, and some various other details which are really nice computer generated print, sort of on there. Also really like this red canopy, and inside you can just fit one minifig, and there's a little grill along the side as well. In general, this insect swarmer looks really quite cool for such a small build. Overall, it's a very good cheap Galaxy Squad set, and I really do quite like this set. It's very well detailed for how small it is, and I very much recommend it. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10, and that's it for this review. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe.